Hi, Miss Patsy, and I'm back to talk about what I've been getting up to the end of September leading into October, and it'll be beyond. I've shown most of the things that I brought in September. There's a couple of bits that I haven't, so we'll start with those. The first one is the Smith-Waite Tarot deck in a tin. This is the Centennial edition. I don't have this in the large size, and I needed an RWS in my little collection, so I went with this one, and I'm so glad I did. This is a lovely version, this one. The coloration and that is really nice, and like most RWS, it reads like a dream. I've been using this quite a bit, so I won't show too many because I know you've all seen these. But yeah, so I got that one in a tin to go with the collection that I have, because I did need an RWS. The next one that I got, that I know has been around a long time, it's the Zombie Tarot. It's been around an awful long time and I've never been drawn to it, but this year I've really been drawn to this, and a lot of people was mentioning it, and I took that as a sign that it's something that I needed to bring into my collection, and I'm so glad I did. I love this deck. I'm using this for my daily cards at the minute, and I'm sure that'll carry on through October. It's a perfect season to be using this, the October month. And I have other dark decks and spooky decks that I'm sure I'll get out as well, but this one will stay out. This is a great little reader. I'm really enjoying the messages I'm getting from this, and it's such a fun deck. Makes me smile, but delivers messages you need to hear. It's just really good. I'm really enjoying it. I won't show too much of that because I know it's been around a long time and most of you will have seen that many times. But yeah, so that's new to my collection. So the other things that I've had come into my collection are for the work that I'm going to be doing in the next little while, I suppose. It's never going to be ending really, I don't suppose. But I'm going to start getting back into my ancestors' work. Now, this is something that I've always done. Past lives and ancestors' work has always been quite a big part of my practice. But with the news that I had a few months ago about my parentage and that knocking me off my feet and what have you, I kind of put that to one side. I've got an ancestor altar in my living room, in the corner of my living room, that I have my photos and my bits, and I used to do offerings and everything. That kind of come to a bit of a standstill. It's still there, and I still sit at it, but I'm not really doing much work involved in working with them. And that kind of changed these last couple of weeks, and like I said, going into October and beyond, that is something that I'm going to be delving deeper into again. I bought a couple of books. This one, The Ancestors Tarot by Nancy Hendricks. It's an excellent book. I've started it, that's why there's a marker in there to sort of say where I'm got to. I'm working through this, and this is an excellent book. And then I also got another book by her, same lady, Nancy Hendricks, and this is the Ancestral Grimoire. And this is Connect with the Wisdom of the Ancestors through Tarot, Oracles and Magic. Create your personal book of shadows. So that's that one. And this one is Uncover Your Past and Chart Your Future. So they both look like they're going to be really good. This one I'm thoroughly enjoying. I'm working through this. I've not really done too much of this one. I'm working with this one at the minute. But yeah, so those two books come into my collection to do this. And also there's another book coming out what I have on pre-order, what will be coming out later this week, fingers crossed. The Book of Ancestors, A Guide to Magic Rituals and Your Family History by Claire Goodchild. So that will be coming in as well, and I'll be working with that alongside those two as well. So what I've also got, I had this deck when it first came out. I had it on pre-order by Carrie Paris. It's the Relative Tarot. I had this come in and I couldn't really, I don't think I'll give it a chance, if I'm honest. It come in with other things and I didn't really pay much attention to it, I don't think. And because it sat there, I passed it on. Then when I wanted to delve deeper back into my ancestors' work, I decided to rebuy it, and I don't know why I couldn't get on with this the first time. This deck is excellent. I've been getting some really great readings with this, I must admit. Now, I'll show you this one I'm talking to you. September is a difficult month for me, and the wheel of life and death is very apparent in the month of September for me, and I think this is what kind of spurred me on. September is the month that I lost my maternal grandmother, somebody I was particularly very close to. She was only a little bit older than me. She died when she was 58, so only a couple of years older than me. And I also lost my older brother in a car accident at the age of 25 in 1991, and that was a very difficult period of my life, losing him, and that kind of spurred me on. And it was after that that I kind of got involved with tarot and healing and what I'm doing now, sort of thing. So that kind of spurred me on. But yeah, it was a difficult period of my life. So September is difficult for the two main losses that I feel. But it's also the month that two of my daughters was born. So it's that birth and death. And my daughters, born 3 years apart, was both born on the same day as my brother's funeral. It was like he was telling me, this is part of life, death is part of life, you carry on living, and now you've got a reason to carry on living. And one of the daughters is named after him. He was Stefan, she's Steffi Ann. So yeah, so September is always that time for me to reflect and to kind of remember those ones that you loved who are no longer here. Like I said, my nan and my brother was two very important parts of my life growing up, and I still feel they're lost today, and I think a lot of people do when they lose people close to them. It doesn't matter how many years, and they're still very much alive in my heart, and I still talk about them constantly. And even though my younger children didn't meet them, they know them as well as I do, really, because of how much I've told them and how much I speak about them in everyday life. And I think that's important. Now, with my ancestors, it's early 2000s, I started doing my family tree. And I had an extensive family tree. I've done it on and off, like I said, for over 20 years now. And these people, it felt like I got to know them. It was learning about their lives, what they did, where they lived, the stories that you learn along the way, the photos that you come across. These are all photos I have on my altar. There's some more I need to get printed out and put on there, but the difficulties that their life was, that they went through. You know, I had ancestors that ended up in the workhouse. My ancestors was farming, working on farms, agricultural, no money, so it's not surprising that a lot of them ended up in workhouses. Difficult times, but these people I seem to get to know, and it was like that they came alive in my head. So when I found out what I did about my parentage earlier on in this year, it was like I no longer knew who I was. It's so difficult. I mean, people say to me, yeah, but he'll always be your dad. And yes, he will. He's the man who brought me up, and he's the man who was there. But in a strange way, and I say this with respect and not to, you know, but even back then, I mean, right through my childhood, I suppose, I always felt like I was different. I always felt like there was something I didn't know that made me different to my siblings. I don't know, it's very hard to explain. And even when I was doing my family tree all those years ago, my maternal side, her mum, I went back hundreds of years with her family, and I really felt connected with them. These people was from the north of England, Newcastle, Durham, excuse me, all that kind of way. And I lived their lives through the books of Catherine Cookson, and it was just a real strong connection. And my mum's paternal side, she didn't know. Excuse me, dry throat. She didn't know. She was born out of wedlock like I was. She was born out of wedlock. So she didn't know her father. She knew her name and the area that he come from. She was told that. But she had no interest in kind of finding him. So we knew nothing about him. Since I've done a DNA test, there has been people coming up who are related on that paternal side, my mother's paternal side. But they also are connected in ways they don't know, because their mother, mainly mothers, I believe they was, their mothers, they was brought up in that area, was adopted out, so they didn't know their parents either. So it's kind of still a subject what we can't really put any light on, but there is that same name connection and the same area connection. So I know that my mum's dad actually did come from where she was told and what have you, and this name does seem to be a name that kind of goes through all. So but we don't know nothing about them. So then I had like my dad's side of the family, and even when I was tracing them, I didn't feel any connection like I did to my maternal grandmother. And I thought that was just because I was really close to my maternal grandmother, my dad's parents and what have you, and his family. We didn't really have an awful lot to do with. They was around, but distant kind of thing. So I just put it down to that. But now I do wonder if it's because of deeper reasons that I kind of knew that this wasn't my blood. It's very strange, and I have no don't want to be disrespectful in saying that, but they just didn't feel any connection with the people that I knew, let alone the people what I thought my ancestors. And it was a line that even though I did work on, I didn't kind of get myself absorbed in their lives like I did with my maternal mother's side. So yeah, it's very difficult to kind of put it into words, but finding out that there's 50%, because half of, you get half of your DNA from your mother and half from your father, but 44% is my biggest chunk of DNA, roughly, because I mean it's all kind of, it's not perfect sciences, but roughly 44% of me is of a area that I knew very little of. Now I know who my biological father is, and I knew him, and I was very close to him, so that helps. but I didn't know nothing about, or very little of his life before he came to the UK. And trying to find anything out now, he's no longer here, he passed away a long time ago. It's difficult because of the language barrier. There is cousins still alive who I am in contact with, but having to use Google Translate, so it makes it very difficult because it's a bit hit and miss. But because it's a country that has been torn apart over the years through war and been divided up, trying to find any kind of records of births and who his parentage was and what have you, it's proven impossible. I just can't do that. I have a rough, from what I've been told, I have a rough idea of the parentage only on his paternal side. They didn't seem to really know much about his maternal side, and I don't know if that's the culture, that it's mainly male orientated, but yes, I don't know these people, but they are part of me. I am part of them, and it's important for me to find out at least something, I think, to be able to move on. And this is why I need to get back into this ancestors work, to connect with these people, to connect with them what has gone before, and to find, I don't know, to find out who I am, to help me through my search for where I come from and all the rest of it. So it's become quite important that I get back to this and get back to the offerings and get back to doing my daily practice like I always did. And like I said, these books and the one that are coming, I'm hoping is going to help that. But this is what I've kind of been doing since sort of middle of September and onwards, and will now become quite a big part of my practice again, because this is the only way I'm going to connect. I have been sent some photos from that side of the family, of uncles and what have you, but not of grandparents or anything like that. Nobody seems to have any, so I'm still trying to search that. But again, it's that not being able to speak the language. They don't speak English and I don't speak their language, so it's made very difficult. But this is a way for me to find that connection, and this is what will become, like I said, a big part of my moving forward. And I will find, you will find that I will update quite often different things that I'm doing through the book. Some wonderful spreads in there, some wonderful things and what have you. And I'm looking forward to getting this one that I have on pre-order as well. So I shall be delving into my books again later today. And the good thing about this time of year as well is my eyes do improve a little bit, because I don't have the allergies to contend with as well as my eye issues. So it does give me a little bit more chance to do a bit more reading and journaling, which is great, because in the winter months there's not an awful lot else you can do when them days start getting colder and darker. So yeah, so that is my September going into October, and I will keep you updated. But it'd be interesting to hear if you have these books, or you do any ancestors work yourself. And yeah, and I will speak to you all soon, and thanks for watching. Bye.